Anybody want to buy Lord of the Rings? Because it's for sale. If it's not obvious enough by now, I'll let you know why it's for sale. Welcome back to the studio. My name's Gothic Arch, creator of Blue Phoenix comic book. And today we are talking about Lord of the Rings and the fire sale that's going on. Here's an article by Variety. Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit film and gaming rights up for sale. Now, why would you sell one of the, if not the most popular fantasy film franchise in history? It already has a built-in fan base. People already love this thing, but it appears as though one of the owners wants to sell it. Well, one of the owners' estates wants to sell it. If you don't know, there's a new show coming out, The Rings of Power on Amazon, and that's what everyone in the Lord of the Rings fandom is talking about right now. Hollywood is about to stampede into Middle-earth. An array of movie, merchandising, gaming, and live event rights to The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and other titles from author J.R.R. Tolkien are coming up for auction now that the Saul Zaentz Co. has decided to sell its Tolkien holdings. They declined to comment on this, and I think I know why. The timing of the sale process is not accidental. Amazon is set to premiere its long-awaited mega-budgeted TV series rendition of the enduring Lord of the Rings saga, Lord of the Rings: The Rings of Power, on September 2nd. Amazon is at the top of the list of prime candidates to pursue the additional rights now held by Zaentz. So they hold rights to exploit Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit properties in film, video games, and merchandising, live events, and theme parks. So that's a huge chunk of that franchise that they own. So this person, Saul Zaentz, I can't say his name. We'll call him Saul Z. Mr. Z, an entrepreneur in music and film who died in 2017, acquired film adaptation and other rights to the various Tolkien titles in 1976. Somehow he got the rights for a television show, and now Amazon cut a deal with the Tolkien estate to be able to make this TV show. Now, a TV show like this should make a boatload of cash. It should make so much money that the people that own the rights would never want to give it up. It would be so easy, so freaking easy to make money off of the Lord of the Rings if you owned it. Now, why would they want to go and sell it? Well, let's take a look. Oh, that's why. Yeah, okay. I see. Okay. So it's just another case of a company taking over a beloved franchise and making it woke. Everything has to be woke now. Thanks to Vanity Fair, we have some information to share with you regarding highly anticipated fantasy epic, The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. So we got some new photos of the show, and people are talking about it everywhere. People on both sides of the spectrum are against this. Surprisingly, it is so woke that it's uniting people, which actually might be a good thing. Producers say the series will feature at least 22 main characters and several plot lines, which many of which have been created from scratch. So they're basically creating brand new characters, even though there are several characters in Lord of the Rings that they could have used. They want to make brand new characters because they apparently think they're better writers than J.R.R. Tolkien. In a first look profile of the series, the project's creative team apparently wasn't prepared for the backlash from fans to their vision. What? We're making something great here. What do you mean? We're not putting any politics into the show. Why are fans attacking us? They're always the victim. They always play the victim, these people. They always kind of have the same reaction. Like a certain cast member of G4, putting something out there that they know is going to be offensive and is going to piss people off. They know it, and then they act like the victim whenever there's backlash. Like, oh, what are you doing? Why? So they responded the way most self-absorbed Hollywood ideologues do when fans don't react positively to their offerings. Blame it all on racist trolls that hate diversity. It felt only natural to us that an adaptation of author J.R.R. Tolkien's work would reflect what the world actually looks like, says Lindsay Weber, an executive producer of the series. Tolkien is for everyone. His stories are about his fictional races doing their best work when they leave the isolation of their own cultures and come together. Tolkien scholar Mariana Rios Maldonado, what the fuck? Why can't I say this word? asked, "Who are these people that feel so threatened or disgusted by the idea that an elf is black or Latino or Asian?" I don't know, maybe because in the books, elves are described as very fair-skinned. I don't know. It's J.R.R. Tolkien's creation, and that's how he made his characters. So they're like, I don't know why people are mad. We're just changing the characters. The story follows the second age of Middle-earth's history and includes storylines about an elf, the first person of color to play a Tolkien elf on screen. The dwarven princess named Disa, played by Sophia Nomvet, the franchise's first female dwarf. Did we not see a female dwarf in Lord of the Rings? I'm pretty sure there was a female dwarf, or else maybe that was Gimli talking about how female dwarfs look just like them, but they have a beard. And this female dwarf does not have a beard. So that's odd. If she would have had a beard, I don't think people would have been giving this like as much of a hard time as they are now. As well as the first black woman to play a Lord of the Rings dwarf. In addition, there are familiar characters such as younger version of Eleven favorites. While it is true that Peter Jackson's trilogy of film featured far fewer actors of color than Amazon's The Rings of Power, the criticism stemmed mostly from what producers feel is their modern approach to the storylines and creation of the character plots. So, back to this, they are saying, we want to reflect what the real world actually looks like, what the world actually looks like. This is Middle-earth, okay? And it's J.R.R. Tolkien's creation. It's not the real world. It's not going outside and saying, hey, there's a dwarf. So here's some tweets here by people that are justifiably upset. Yes, because elves, wizards, dwarves, moving talking trees, orcs, trolls, and several other things totally is what, yeah, it's all fantasy. It's not real. You're not supposed to see the real world, but these people that somehow get in charge of every single franchise on planet Earth, they feel like they have to represent everybody, and that's impossible to do. Characters are characters so that you're not supposed to see yourself in characters. Like I always say, you're supposed to learn lessons from the characters and live through them. There's even somebody with a rainbow flag here says, representation matters, so I applaud this move, but it was not necessary to create new characters. The second age story has more than enough characters for actors of all color to play. Yeah, I mean, there's so many characters in J.R.R. Tolkien's work that they could have done that instead of thinking that they can write in new characters that'll be better than J.R.R. Tolkien's. This is a quote by J.R.R. Tolkien. The toponymy of the Shire is a parody of rural England. In much the same sense are its inhabitants. They go together and are meant to. After all, the book is English and by an Englishman. So yeah, I'm basically saying, the characters in the Shire are white because it's based on England. But there must be something wrong with, a certain level of melanin in your skin. Namely none. So the studio found itself in hot water among fans last year after reports surfaced that the production had hired intimacy coordinators and ensured in the casting process that actors be comfortable with appearing in nude scenes. In a response to last year's petition urging Amazon series not to include nudity and gratuitous sex scenes, producers confirmed they do not plan to turn The Rings of Power into a Game of Thrones style epic. That's good. Yeah, I heard rumors last year that they were trying to put like nude scenes and stuff like that in The Rings of Power, which J.R.R. Tolkien would be very much against that. I mean, he was a Christian and he would not want that garbage in this show, and that's not Lord of the Rings at all. So yeah, they are trying to sell the IP to the show. Before the big TV series comes out, they're changing these shows and these franchises to fit their politics, and if you don't like it, then you're obviously racist, because we're putting, our own characters in there and they're POCs. And if you don't like that, then you're racist. This is going to bomb. This is not going to do well, and nobody likes it. So great. So there it is. It's pretty obvious. It's not hard to see why the people that own the IP are trying to sell it before this show comes out, because, everything woke turns to shit. It really is insanity that people that own these IPs keep doing this and keep putting things out there just for political reasons. and then they don't do well, and then they wonder why, and they blame the fans for not liking it, and they're like, the fans must be racist because they didn't like it. No, it's because you're changing the characters and you are messing with everything about your franchise that you own. So good luck with that show. I'm not going to be watching it. I don't suggest you watch it either. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Let me know what you think down in the comments. What do you think of the new characters that we saw in the first Vanity Fair look? Don't forget to subscribe for weekly content, and I will see you next time.